Next up, we have a new presenter, Andy Root, and he's going to show us how he scratch built a Mack rail bus in both On18 and On30. So Andy, welcome to New Tracks Live.
Thanks for having me on, Tom. Appreciate it. Okay, this all started from my trip with Tom out to the Micro Madness meet in Ransom. I had my layout parked right next to Les Davis, so I got to talking to him about his Mack rail bus. So I ended up with one, and this photo is finished. It still doesn't have the windows in it or weathered yet, but it's up and running. It's presentable. This is all the pieces. It uses a Stan Shields Hyper 20 N20 hyperdrive. The front truck is just standard HO. I did use a real short wheelbase truck. I had printed up myself. So my initial plan was to make this a production feasible chassis, but I just started with a styrene and scratch built the bottom of it. And this is just showing the very bottom plate after I traced it out and got it cut out. And then there I got it marked out for the hole for the hyperdrive. And then the front mark is where the front truck will fit attached on. And this is after I braced it all up with square stock. I put the hyperdrive in, depending on how you set it, it kind of floats. So I just glued it in with some E6000, I believe it's called. Seemed to work pretty good. Got the front truck put on. And this just shows the bottom side of it. I ended up using phosphorus bronze wire for my contacts on the rear wheels. And this is just another photo of it. Looks like I could have dusted it off a little. And that's just a photo of it after I put it in its first coat of primer. And then these are photos of it mocked up on the track. You can see the front truck that I printed. It's in white ABS plastic. And just another view of it from the back. And another. And this is my first coat of yellow. I decided I wanted to do a two-tone paint job on it. And then after I got it all built, I put it all in CAD. I've got 46 years in mold design business, so I'm pretty decent at CAD. So I drew this all up in Fusion 360. And that's the first one off the printer. Printed this in ABS on a resin printer. And there you can see where I've got the phosphorus bronze wires mounted into it right on the truck rear wheels. And this is a finish of it, picture of it finished, painted. It's no weathering yet though. Had a lot of fun painting all the Coke bottles and everything on the roof. Okay, should be the last photo of this. Okay, the next one is a 0-18 version that I collaborated with Les on. On my layout, I have a real narrow trestle. So he made me a version that's only about 1.125 wide, so it'll run through my trestle. This is a photo of it finished. It uses the same old tried and true 11-109 Cato drive. Man, those things are bulletproof and you can use them for just about anything. They're great units. On this one, I elected to just go ahead and design a plate up for it in CAD right off the bat because I figured it was just as easy for me to do that as it was to try and build an initial one out of ABS. So after I got it put together, I wanted to put a front truck on it, and I had to do a lot of trial and error there. So I ended up making it like a pilot on a steam engine, so it pivots. And I just made that out of a piece of styrene temporarily. And you can see where I added on to my 3D print because I had to modify it and slide the Cato drive all the way to the back of the chassis in order to put the truck on the front of it. That's just an N-scale truck off an old Bachmann car of some sort. There you can see it all put together and setting in the body, and you can see my gap in front of my chassis there where I slid the chassis all the way back. And this is my first initial run of it. After I tried it without putting the swing arm on the front, and I kind of figured it would not go around the track because it just didn't have enough flex. I tried slotting the front truck to let it slide side by side. That didn't do it. So then I elected to put the swing arm on the front pilot. I guess that's what I'll call it. And then this is after I finished it, I went with the same two-tone paint, only the other one's blue. And I did this one in green, and I've yet to put windows or weather this one either. And so this is that. So these chassis, I will be 3D printing those, and they'll be available for anybody that wants to build one of these. You can get the shells from Les Davis. And that's it. Does anybody have any questions?
Andy, what was the most difficult part of which was one harder than the other, the 018 versus the ON30?
The O and 30 was pretty straightforward to what I needed to do with it. Now the O and 18, getting that front truck mounted upright and working was the most challenge, but now I got that figured out. They're both pretty simple, really.
And you, I know you have a laser cutter, I know you have a resin printer, and I know you have the filament printer.
Yes.
Did you, these, everything on this was, these two were, well, the one that you did 3D printing on, was that was resin alone, or, yeah?
Yeah, these were both resin printed, but I could probably do them in FDM on a filament printer also, I imagine, just as well. So I'll probably have all this finished up this week so it can all be.
What was the approximate cost of the two drives, the hyperdrive and the Cato drive, just approximate?
The hyperdrives from are about $79. The Catos, I buy those off the internet for probably $25 by the time they're here. They come from Japan, so you have to wait for a while. It takes a couple of weeks to get one. But I'm not sure what Les's costs were on the shells yet. These were like the first two that he's made, so these were prototypes.
Seems to me that the Cato drive looks higher quality than the other one, or is that not the case? They both basically the same quality. They both run the same.
Yeah, I mean the Catos are just, for the money you can't beat them. They're just bulletproof.
Yeah.
Now the other one from Stan, it's a nice piece. It's all metal. There is no plastic in that thing. So it's a really nice piece too. And they make those drives, and you can get them in different RPMs, all the way from like, I think 15 up to 100 RPMs a minute. So depending on what you want.
And then finally, what is the CAD system you use for your operation?
I use Fusion 360 is what I'm using. And then I'm printing with Anacubic printers.
Okay. Well, thank you as being
Wait a second here.
Yeah.
Andy, what gear ratio did you have on the when you bought the N20 motors?
I don't know what these are that I got from Stan.
Hmm.
I have
Okay.
since found them and just the drive units without the wheels. And I've
Yeah.
found they come in all these different ones.
Right.
Clem
Okay.
had some out there at the meet in Ransom, and he had some that were pretty slow. So I'm going to guess they were, around 20 revolutions per minute
Okay.
because he's also selling them too.
Yeah, I bought some off of eBay, and uh, like I said, there's like 4 or 5 different ratios you can get and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, it's just finding the right wheel sets to put on
Right. Yeah, I've got a project I'm doing for a customer who he is a HO scale Grant Line GE 25 ton that I took out the Grant Line motor that was from that huge motor they had in their open frame motor that Grant Line put in there, and using the N20 system so I can put room for DCC and stuff like this in it.
them. Right. You can get those N20s in right angle, or you can get them with a straight through like a slot car motor.
Right, exactly. They're pretty cool, and they're really quiet when they run too. I was pretty amazed.
I can see where there's a lot of uses for those things. I just haven't really sat
Absolutely.
down and thought
I,
about it yet.
yeah, I'm personally an O scale modeler, and there's a guy that just I got a Wickham that's 3D printed, and there's a guy on the P48 list that used 2 of those N20 motors to drive one in O scale.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean they're pretty cool. All right,
Well, they
thanks.
are. Uh-huh.
Thank you again, Andy. And
Thank you.